Hey guys, a very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook for the major dollar pairs and of course gold. So with that said, let's dive straight in. Starting off with the dollar index. So the dollar index reacted to this area of demand beautifully. As we can clearly see, pretty much what we wanted and discussed yesterday happened. We can clearly see, okay, push back up, push back down, liquidation, and then a fractal structure break because this high over here of this bullish candle broke the low of this candle over here. And then once we broke this high, I was pretty convinced that we were going to see a further rise in price of the dollar index. So now, as we can clearly see, we have this sell before the buy over here, and we have as well this area of demand over here. For the rest of the day, I am expecting a potential further push in towards the highs from the dollar index, at least in towards this buy before the sell-off. So keep your eyes open for that area of price. That's also ultimately, if we draw in the premium versus discount tool, the overall 50% mark of this swing range. Furthermore, of course, the 4-hour is now bearish with this swing low being broken over here. So overall, DXY is bearish, and we expect further downside, right? Once the 4-hour swing market structure shifts bearish, So overall, let's wait and see if we can move up higher on the dollar index and at least this area of supply before heading down lower. So that's the dollar index. Moving over in towards euro dollar. So euro dollar at the moment has been pulling back. Exactly, again, pretty much what we wanted. As we can clearly see, we had a fractal structure break over here. So this high got taken out, after which this low over here got taken out, meaning that we have that 4-hour change of character. And a 4-hour change of character, guys, that is a tail sign that after a break of structure, which we had over here, that the 4-hour is ready to start pulling back. So at this point in time, you can now look for those potential shorts to trade euro dollar back down lower, at least in towards, for example, this area of demand over here. So if this morning euro dollar decides to pull back, for example, in towards this doji candle over here, then you can look for a short opportunity back down in towards this area of demand, and of course holding it even in towards the extreme area of demand down below over there. Now moving down or up, in towards the daily. Daily still has some more room to move up higher, at least in towards these daily areas of supply. Also, the overall EQ, so the 50% mark of the range, is located approximately here. So there is still further upside potential possible for the dollar index. Going back down in towards the 15. Overall, from a 15-minute perspective, we now have that shift in structure that we were looking for. Overall, what we now want to see is, of course, that pullback back up in towards the highs. Clear liquidity being built up above this high, and this high. So where do we want to go short? Well, we want to go short from this area of supply over here, or for example, this area of supply over here. So supply zone number 1 and supply zone number 2. Those are the two main zones I'm going to be keeping my eyes out open for. So yeah, that is pretty much that. And then you can, of course, trade the 4-hour back in towards demand. So that's the overall goal today for euro dollar. And then when we hit those areas of demand, that's when we want to buy back up in towards this daily area of supply. So yeah, that's euro dollar. Moving over in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, AUDUSD, what can we expect? Well, of course, Aussie dollar had a far more aggressive move in towards the downside than euro dollar. As you can see, currently located inside of this demand zone. Not really a big fan of trading Aussie dollar at the moment. I will be keeping my eyes open, however. There is some daily demand inside these two wicks. Of course, the stronger area of demand is this sell before the big buy. So that's ultimately where you would preferably want to go long from to potentially trade Aussie dollar even up higher once again. Overall, the internal structure here on Aussie dollar is bullish. So keep that in mind. It does look good to start trading up higher once again if we can see a internal lower time frame reaction to either this area of demand or, of course, this stronger area with this sell before the buy. So now going back in towards the 4-hour, we can then see, okay, we have an interesting area of 4-hour demand. Potentially we could, however, see a reaction inside of this, let's say demand zone. However, I'll be waiting for price to develop, and I'll mainly be focusing on what euro dollar and the dollar index are doing before getting involved with Aussie dollar. Moving in towards the 15, also not very interesting for myself. Not really something that I want to get involved with. Does look good still to push down lower potentially overall the 15-minute swing structure is still bullish, but once we, for example, break this low over here, then I would potentially be looking for those potential short. No, I'm not going to be looking for those shorts. What I'll be looking for when we break this low is then the anticipation that we're going to hit that lower area of demand on the 4-hour and on the daily. So that's this area over here, and then from there I'll be looking for those longs back up higher in line with the overall internal structure, because overall, remember guys, the 4-hour swing structure is bearish, but it's this massive the daily swing structure is bearish, excuse me, but we're now evolving in towards this massive overall structure where it's better just to focus on the overall internal structure, because otherwise we just get caught up in ranges. So that's why I'm now focusing mainly on the lower time frame, being the 4-hour and the 4-hour structure. And the 4-hour structure is telling me, okay, if we do not react over here in a bullish way, then we'll be looking for longs from over here. So yeah, that's that. Moving in towards pound dollar. Wrong typo. So pound dollar, what are we expecting? Pretty much the same as on euro dollar occurred. Clearly, we got that shift in fractal structure, high created, low broken. So now we have some supply over here in this buy before the sell. So if we do pull back, you could look for short deeper in towards this overall 4-hour area of demand. Currently reacting to these wicks over here, which on the lower time frame, for example, the 1 hour is an imbalanced candle over here, but on the 15-minute, you'll have this sell before the buy. So that's currently what we're really reacting to. Nothing really that significant. I'll just be keeping my eyes out for a potential long up higher in line with the overall 4-hour structure. But for that to occur, what we would like to see is a deeper pullback in towards the downside. So that deeper pullback should take place in towards this area over here, and if we then get that long opportunity, then that would be ideal to start going long from there, because your current swing low is over here and your current swing high is over here. So this would be approximately 618 fib / discount, and that is where we want to go long from. But as we can clearly see in that move up, there is no liquidity inside that move. So what you preferably want to see is kind of like either a pattern forming in towards the lows, or of course some kind of liquidation move over here, and then, for example, those early buyers getting stopped down. So for that to happen, we still need to move down in towards the downside. Not really a fan of buying from over here. Going in towards the 15-minute again real quick, or even the 1 hour, because I like GU more often than not on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is also pretty overextended. I would say this is your low on the 1 hour, this is your high. So for the 1 hour, it would also be favorable to push down a little bit deeper. I'll be waiting for more development on GU before trading it. Moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD from a 4-hour perspective, just missed out on that zone. Of course, if you refine it kind of like to the entire buy before the sell, you'll see you kind of pretty much tapped into it. But preferably I would just adjust it to this candle over here. Overall, when we focus on fractal structure, what we clearly saw was that this fractal high over here got broken, and then shortly after we saw this fractal low get broken over here. So the low got broken, and from that point onwards we started flipping bearish. Then again, if you focus on 4-hour fractal structure, another break over here, so that's kind of can be seen as a push down, a pullback, and then a push down. You can see this wick over here tapping in towards this buy before the sell. Now if you move in towards the 15-minute, what you'll then see is that that's pretty much a tap in towards, and I'll just have to mark it out real quick. That is pretty much over here, this area. So that is overall, it's not the best example, but again, if we look at order flow in general, order flow is pretty much the entire buy before the sell. That is how you would draw it in. Like this is the buy before the sell off, and then you see market comes back in towards that buy before the sell, sells back off. This is the buy before the sell. What happens? The market comes in towards that buy before the sell, sells back off. So if the market is a little bit choppy and you can't really identify your areas of supply or demand, then just use the entire buy before the sell range, and because you can also trade those, as you can clearly see. So currently, from a 15-minute perspective, this is of course your next buy before the sell range. So it would be favorable for the market to push up back in towards there before heading further downwards. Looking at the 4-hour, real quick, Kiwi dollar did make a deeper push than, for example, Aussie dollar and the other pairs. Now, this is your sell for the buy. As you can clearly see, we now tapped into it, so I wouldn't be looking to really short this anymore due to the fact that we already tapped in towards this demand zone. However, what I do know is that there's no liquidity in this move up. So what is likely to happen, it's likely to kind of like liquidate its own low. That's a very high probability trade, which you could then, for example, trade back up higher. So now looking at this from a 15-minute perspective, overall the 15-minute swing structure is still bullish. I mean, if we just focus on the very, very basics of 15-minute swing structure, then it's likely that this is your low and this over here is your high. I haven't dived into the swing structure yet, but what would be favorable is one more push up, so reacting to this demand zone, then push down, liquidating everybody, and then break this high, then we look for longs from over here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Kiwi dollar. Then moving on in towards the last pair, which is gold. So gold, yeah, moving down lower. I mean, deeper in towards this overall choppy range. Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. Yeah, I'm not really going to be trading gold at all. You're just going to be stuck inside of this range over here. So overall, we can see that the 4-hour fractal structure is bearish over here after breaking this low. This is your fractal high, and this is currently your fractal low. It's likely that there's still some demand somewhere here where the market will react to. Once we break this high, then we can look for longs again. Or until, of course, fractal structure here is formed, for example. So just keep in mind, fractal structure is currently bearish on the 4-hour, going in towards the 1-hour or the 15-minute. It's also looking pretty bearish at the moment. Some people would say this is a head and shoulders pattern. Yeah, I don't trade those, but overall, I can see what you mean. Going back up in towards the daily, I mean, the daily does look good ultimately for some form of a pullback, and it wouldn't be that bad of an idea if we can pull back in towards this area of daily demand or this area of daily demand. I will be looking for a potential buy. So guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description down below, and I wish you all a fantastic trading day. Thanks guys.